Well. It's hump day. And, well, it's getting to the point where soon we're actually going to have real hockey to talk about. And the Jays will be in, the Fall Classic is coming up. But first, why not? We'll stay with the Jays. Let's talk about the Jays and what happened to them on Monday.
So, yeah, Monday was not a good night, all things considered. He was openly complaining about an injury early in the first inning. There was a rather spectacular play that he made, a split on a catch, and they actually finally pulled him from the game after the sixth with what the team was calling left hamstring tightness. The way that he stretched for the ball on first base in the first inning seemed to be the source of his issues. The really good news out of all of that, though, is he's been upgraded to day-to-day. So we've kind of dodged disaster here. The hamstring MRI revealed just inflammation, which is best case scenario for Schneider and the Jays. Now that's according to Mitch Bannon of The Athletic. Now, Vladdy wasn't playing yesterday, so just in order to sort of rest up. It was a bit of a frightening, bit of a scare, to be honest.
And he didn't play today either.
Not as far as I can see, no.
No. And anyway, so Tuesday, the Jays 1-1.
Yeah, really good game. Scherzer and Springer led the way. Scherzer had 6 strong innings to notch his 220th career win. And George Springer hit an early 2-run homer as the Jays defeated the Pirates 7-3. The good thing is we now have we had a split. Unfortunately, the other game just ended. The Jays ended up on the wrong side of a 2-1 loss to the Pirates, meaning we've basically lost the series at this point. It's interesting that the Jays and the Pirates have exactly opposing records. The Jays are 74-54, and the Pirates are 54-74. So,
and not only that, the Jays lost to a Zamboni. No, they didn't. A rookie, not a Zamboni driver. Let's talk about tennis, and let's talk about Fernandez.
So after winning the DC Open, there was a bit of concern in Cincinnati after Layla went down early. She also had a back-to-back opening round exits at the National Bank Open in Montreal and Cincinnati. But Monday in Mexico, she had a 6-3, 7-5 first-round win over Jacqueline Cristian of Romania at the WTA 500 Monterey Open, where she's actually won before. She's listed as 7th seed. She finally won the first set in 35 minutes. It's an extremely efficient dismantling of her opponent at that point. Both players stayed on serve in a tight second set until Fernandez broke Christian at 5-5 and served out a win 7-5 to take the match in an hour and 33 minutes. That's extremely efficient tennis playing. So, she now advances to the round of 16, where she's facing the winner of a match between Rebecca Sramkova of Slovakia and Victoria Rodriguez of Mexico. So we'll see where this takes her. But with winning 2 of 5 break points and taking 24 points while receiving, Christian unfortunately had 23 unforced errors, which was 11 more than Fernandez. So good start for her. Glad she's back on the right track after disappointing finishes in Montreal and Cincinnati.
There's some excitement in the women's doubles.
Yeah, so going back to last weekend, this is one of the stories that we wanted to cover on Monday, but unfortunately couldn't. Gabriela Dabrowska of Ottawa and Erin Rutliff of New Zealand won the Cincinnati Open Women Doubles Championships with a straight set win over Guo Hanyo of China and Alexandra Panova of Russia. This was on Sunday night. The second-seeded combo, Dabrowski and Rutliff, who won the U.S. Open's women's doubles title together in 2023, now have 6 joint titles. They defeated the unseeded Hanyu and Panova 6-3, 6-4 in an hour and 20 minutes on P&G Center Court at the WTA 1000 event. They led with aces, winners, first point serves, return games won, and maximum games in a row. Hanyo and Panova had 17 unforced errors and 1 double fault. So onward and upward for them. That's awesome to see. The Canadian and Aussie combo definitely seems to be getting a handle on things.
sticking with tennis, we had some excitement in Halifax.
Yep. So there's an upcoming match, upcoming September 12th and 13th. There are approximately 413 signatories on a petition calling on Tennis Canada to cancel their Davis Cup tie with Israel in Halifax this September. Ahmed, who's a runner from St. Catharines, won a silver medal at the Tokyo Olympics, signed a letter that frames the September 12th, 13th Davis Cup tie against the backdrop of what it calls rising condemnation of Israel's conduct in Gaza and the West Bank. Citing legal scholars and human rights groups have described it as a genocide against the Palestinian people. Signatories have noted that Canada has already sanctioned a couple Israeli cabinet members, a move that followed actions by the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Norway, and argued it would be unconscionable to proceed with the competition. The last time Canada hosted a Davis Cup tie in Halifax was in 2016 when they swept Chile 5-0. The most recent time that Canada played Israel, they won 3-2 in 2011, a tie played in Ramat Hasharon. So not sure if this is going to go forward yet, but it's definitely something we'll keep an eye on.
It's a tough call, very tough call.
Oh, for sure.
Let's go with our second half, and we'll begin with the Montreal Canadiens, who are getting ordained the team of the summer. I think something like that. Fair enough.
Yeah, Kent Hughes has been extremely active. After his team made the playoffs last year, Hughes decided it was time to give it a big boost. He got right shot defenseman Noah Dobson. That allowed him to move out Logan Mailloux to get some help up front in Zachary Bolduc. He also went hunting on the free agency market, signed Samuel Blais to a one-year one-way, added veteran netminder Capo Kakinen on a one-year one-way contract, and center Joe Veleno on a one-year deal. On paper, that's a lot of positive moves, and it's easy to see why Adam Proteau had the Canadians topping his summer splash rankings. It's a little bit early to say that they're going to be the most improved team. I don't know if you remember last year when Nashville decided to sign Stamkos, Marchessault, and Shai, but that was when the Preds were supposed to be presumptive Stanley Cup champions, but bit of a failure to launch there.
They had guys that were a little older, and the adjustment for them is a little tougher. You know, they're all players that have played previous team for a while, and then now they come here. There's an adjustment period for when you go to a new team, especially when you're an older player. And I'm not going to say, I'm going to say I'm not surprised that was the case with Nashville. Too bad for them. But with Montreal, it's a different story. What you're talking about here is the Montreal Canadiens are not bringing in 40-year-olds or 33-year-olds. These guys they're bringing in that they're trading for are young players within the wheelhouse age of the existing core that they have at this time. So I like what Montreal's done. If I had to pick between Toronto and Montreal making the playoffs this year, I'd pick Montreal.
Not that I want to. There is a proviso that goes along with this, though, because on top of all the people that they brought in, unfortunately, they also lost Joel Armia and Christian Dvorak. Now, I know it doesn't sound like that's a big deal because those guys aren't, offensive powerhouses, but the Habs were the most penalized team in the NHL last year with 423 minutes in the box. Losing Dvorak and losing Armia could potentially hurt their penalty kill. And they were only ninth in the league with a penalty kill rate of 80.9%. Imagine how much better they'd be if they still had those guys, or even better if they took fewer penalties.
I don't know, Aaron. I just think that the young, exciting players, if they have the right, if they're given the opportunity to have the right drive, Montreal's trending in the right direction, and the reason in my mind they're trending in the right direction is their back end is so strong.
No, that's definitely true. But with guys like Jack-I and Anderson, over 90 minutes worth of penalties, a whole bunch of guys hovering around the 40 or 50 minute mark, that's something that they definitely have to address.
Well, it's going to be about how mature the players are and how able they are to. This is the same thing that happened with the Leafs with their young players, right? How do you negotiate the tough going? How do you handle it, right? We watched Matthews being tossed around like a rag doll and smiling all the time, the whole time, right? And nobody there to help him. So at the end of the day, while those guys take a lot of penalties, they're there for a reason. If they can be regulars, Jack Guy's a guy that they're hoping will be a regular. But Seta, who came to the Leafs, was a guy that was kind of on the fringe there, fitting that role, and now he finds himself in Toronto. Let's go to the Sens, and they've got some dynamic players. 3 of them are actually going to, at least they're being considered for Team USA.
Yeah, Kachuk, Jake Sanderson, and Shane Pinto were all named to the 44-man Olympic orientation roster yesterday afternoon. Kachuk was among the first 6 players named to the final roster during the regular season and will be at the Olympics in Milan and Cortino, Italy, as long as he remains healthy. He'll also be among the attendees at camp being held August 26th and 27th in Plymouth. It's not really a surprise that Sanderson is amongst the 16 blue liners that were invited to take part. He emerged as one of the NHL's top defensemen and had a chance to suit up for the USA at the Four Nations face-off. So they would have been a little bit silly to not include him. Pinto played for the Americans in the 2025 IIHF World Championships last spring, and that's what put him on the radar screen for them. He could be considered a strong third-line center in a short tournament and can play both ends of the ice. So,
yeah, so he's quick too.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Jets. They named their roster. The players that they sent there, we know who they are now. They made a good contribution to Team USA.
Oh yeah, it's interestingly enough, they've sent 2 Connors, Connor Hellebuck and Kyle Connor, and Neil Pionk were all named to the U.S. Olympic orientation camp roster. This is a really stacked team for the States. They've got Boldy, Gensel, Larkin, Jason Robertson, Cole Caulfield, Jack Hughes, Austin Matthews, Brian Rust, Logan Cooley, Patrick Kane, JT Miller, Tage Thompson. Like this is just an absolute murderer's row of NHL players. Hellebuck, not a surprise. He had 47 wins along with 8 shutouts and 2.00 goals against average. But as we saw in things like the Four Nations face-off, he kind of struggles in short international competitions, and he has issues in the playoffs. So that's an interesting choice there. Neil Pionk, meanwhile, wasn't on Team USA for Four Nations, but his play with the Jets' second pair helped the team secure the title of the league's best defense for the second consecutive season. So it'll be interesting to see how he does with them. He also won a gold at the 2013 World Junior to help, so that's another thing that's going in his favor.
Absolutely. Well, that brings us to the Jets as well. Talking about the Manitoba Moose, their farm team added a coach.
Yeah, this was actually a bit of a surprise. They've actually decided to add Bob Nardella as an assistant coach for the upcoming 25-26 season. Nardella's got over a decade of coaching experience, most recently with the Chicago Wolves, where he was a coach during the 23-24 season. He joined the Wolves originally back in 2013 as a skills coach before being promoted to assistant coach in 14-15. It's a spot he had for nearly a decade. Also won a Calder Cup with them back in 2022. Nardella actually played 7 seasons for the Wolves in both the AHL and IHL. He had 298 points across 476 games with them. He also won 2 Turner Cup titles in 98 and 2000 and a Calder Cup in 2002. Internationally, Nardella played for Italy at the Winter Olympics in 98 and 2006, and also played pro in Italy and Germany. With Nardella now on board, the Moose continue to build a coaching staff that's got a lot of success and a lot of experience. So hopefully they'll be able to take it to the next level in the coming seasons.
That's awesome. The Flames, Kadri, Canada, not so much.
It seems like a bit of a snub when he wasn't mentioned as going to the development camp. It's one of those things where they're bringing 42 players, but one of them ain't Nas. I think based on his play, he does deserve a shot at it, but You can understand why Kadri would definitely feel snubbed. He's only 34. He had a career high in goals last season for the Flames. His combination of skill and grit would definitely help Team Canada, especially in the corners and digging along the boards, and especially against the States. He's a Stanley Cup champion. It's kind of hard for Kadri after they won the Four Nations face-off last season. Now, all of the players in the Four Nations Cup were invited for the most part, with the exception of Scheifele, Tavares, and Wyatt Johnson, who each had more than 70 points last season. That means hard decisions have to be made about who does and who doesn't make the cut for the next Olympic Games. Matt Duchene, Dylan Strome, Jordan Kyrou, and Drake Batherson are other examples that had more points than Kadri's 67 last season, but also didn't get invited. So he's certainly not alone, but for somebody who's going to be 35 in October, this is potentially his last shot at the Olympics, especially with Macklin Celebrini and Connor Bedard going to the camp. They're 19 and 20 each. So, Canada has Bennett, Hagel, Konechny, and Marchand to fill that role at the Four Nations. But if they want to do it at the Olympics, they've got to go a little bit deeper than that.
Well, it'll be an interesting camp. We'll see how it breaks up. I mean, we won't really know who the players are for a while yet, but they get a chance to, as it is advertised, it's an orientation camp. It's not really so much about working out. It's just about getting to know each other, start thinking about us kind of the basics of the system they're going to use, that kind of thing. Let's talk about the Canucks. And we talked last show about the three brothers getting together. Now we've got a different situation going.
Yeah, so Quinn Hughes and Connor Garland got invited to attend the U.S. Men's Olympic Orientation Camp. There's a lot of U.S. Olympic news here. I do apologize for that, but that's just the way it's trending. With Milano Cortina coming around in February, there's a lot of things that need to be finalized. Now, Hughes had already been named to the Team USA Olympic roster as one of 6 players preliminarily selected. Prior to that, he was named to Team USA for the Four Nations face-off, but didn't play due to injury. This is going to be his first time representing the USA in international play since the IIHF World Championships back in 2018-2019. Connor Garland is going to be joining the U.S. team with 3 years of experience at the IIHF World Championships under his belt. He most recently helped Team USA win gold and helped his country to this milestone for the first time in 92 years. He had 5 goals and 10 assists in 5 goals and 5 assists in 10 games played. Now, I know that we had mentioned as well that there was a possibility that Quinn might be going to New Jersey to join his brothers, Jack and Luke. But there has also been talk of one of the brothers coming back the other way to Vancouver, which could present an interesting situation. So that's something else we're going to be keeping an eye on over the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Of course, then you've got the Maple Leafs. Some interesting conversation going on. I got something I want to add too, but you first.
Sure. Now, obviously, the Leafs aren't going to be the same team with Mitch Marner gone. That's well established. We've beaten that to death. It's a dead horse that we continue to flog. But the other not so secret weak spot of the Maple Leafs is also their defense. And that's, at this point, probably Morgan Riley. He's 31. He's the number 2 point guy in the power play. He's supposed to be their puck moving guy, but it's one of those situations where Morgan needed to be better last season and he wasn't necessarily. So that's definitely something that they're going to need to address. I know they brought in Henry Schrun. He's a very useful player. He's a really good puck mover, but he's not a marquee puck mover. He's a depth puck mover. So it's one of those things where they have to take stock of what they've got and try to figure it out.
The problem with Riley is I think he's been oversold who he is. So I think he has to simplify his game a lot more. He has looked terribly lost at times playing defense for the Maple Leafs, which to me is the reason why I say he needs to simplify his game. that he has to stay within the defenseman mode and be more selective about when he does his forays, when he skates down the ice. And the other thing is, when he does jettison down the ice and make a run, he has to work twice as hard as anybody else to come back. He's got to come back, and the worst habit that I don't like about his game is he tends to worry about the guy just inside the blue line. And he needs to stop worrying about that guy and remind himself that he's a defenseman. Put himself in the position where that player, not just him, but the players he's ignoring, don't have a free lane to the net, which too many times last season was his problem. And I think it means he should just simplify his game. I'm by no means trying to tell you that I'm this great coach or anything, but I'm telling you it's so obvious what he's doing wrong, and the solution is so obvious as well, that if he can't do everything he wants to do, somebody has to tell him, you can't do all you want to do, buddy. This is what we want you to do, and narrow it down. He's not a number one defenseman on the Maple Leafs. He's just not the guy. He's not the guy that they're paying, and which is why, he's in a bit of trouble, that might be feeling like he's not wanted. Well, his contract's not wanted for what he can do in the minds of management, I think, and too many fans.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. There's a lot of stuff that he needs to do better, or do differently.
All of it has to do with doing less. He just can't do as much as either the Leafs think he can or whatever.
He can't be as more as he wants to be. He's got to go back to the KISS principle.
It's not exactly. That's exactly the answer. The KISS principle. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, stupid.
And you know what? And he'll be a better defenseman for them if he does, basically shorten his expectations and be more effective because of it. More can be less, but less can be more. So, I think less will be more for him. Here's an interesting one. Now, who thought Milan Lucic would be coming back to the National Hockey League? I didn't.
I certainly didn't. After allegations of domestic violence and choking popped up back in 2023, allegations that were later dismissed in court against his spouse, the Bruins placed him on indefinite administrative leave back in 23-24. And even after the court case was dismissed, he said that he wouldn't be coming back to the NHL anytime soon. Obviously, anytime soon is past, as he signed a PTO with the St. Louis Blues. We'll see where this goes.
I don't think he's gotten any faster, Aaron.
No, I mean, if he's gotten any meaner, that could be an issue. Not only in the NHL but elsewhere.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how that works for him.
Sure.
The NHL has released their preseason schedule.
So this is a little bit lunatic. It's 15 days. It's 104 games in 40 different NHL and neutral site venues. They're going to be playing in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Bakersfield, California, Boise, Idaho, Hershey, Pennsylvania, Ontario, California, Orlando, Florida, Quebec City, Quebec. Also included are neutral site games between the Avalanche and Mammoth at Magnus Arena in Denver, which is home to the University of Denver hockey teams. It all kicks off on Saturday, September 20th with St. Louis at Dallas at 7 p.m., followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 games on Sunday the 21st. 4 games on Monday, September 22nd. A whole raft of games on the 23rd and 24th, going all the way through until pretty much the start of the season. They're going to be playing all the way through until Sunday, October 4th. So lots of preseason stuff going on there. Not sure if it's too much or too little, but at Jersey versus Ottawa at Quebec City in the Videotron Center is going to be very interesting. Anaheim versus Los Angeles at the Dignity Health Arena in Bakersfield is going to be interesting because both of those are AHL barns. So it looks like they're trying to push the interest for this a little bit outside their usual comfort sphere.
So what if the Canadian government taxes the Canadian teams and the National Hockey League and helps players be in Canada.
I mean,
In the
it'd
back,
be interesting.
like to equalize some of the benefits that the American teams clearly have, and the National Hockey League clearly is fostering and isn't interested in a Canadian team having a fair chance to win the cup.
I mean, you
One
know,
believes that.
it's one of those things where you got to kind of question where the NHL is really going with this thing, and if they do actually want, you know, a truly Canadian and American league, or if they just want everything in the States.
Well, it's going to be an interesting season coming up, and as we said, we're less than a month away from hockey on the ice. So for now, we're doing Leaf sports here, and that is, of course, Maple Leaf, as in the red one, not necessarily the blue one. The blue one's included, but there you go. He's Aaron William Freeland. I'm Candid Frank Stanishi. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you again next time.